Alright, welcome back. If you're watching this video, you're most likely in the video game programming class and working on your capstone. This is going to be the week 2 video drop to assist you with building the Animator State Machine. So the one we built in the first semester for the platformer used boolean triggers to snap the character from idle to run. It worked perfectly for moving left and right, but we're building an action RPG now. Our character needs to move on both the X and Y axes. They need to remember which way they were facing when they stopped moving, and if we try to use a standard state machine for walking and idling in those 4 directions, our animator will look like a massive tangled spider web. So today we're going to bypass that completely by engineering a 2D blend tree. Alright, so we have our animations in place. One for each of the walking directions, one for idle for each of the directions. Remember, for your walking, keep the first and last frames the same, and then put the actual steps in between. Mine are about 8 frames apart, so just keep that in mind while you're working on that. But let's get into the animator. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to create 2 blend trees. So the first one we're going to do is an idle one, so let's go ahead and right click in here, go to create state, from new blend tree, and we're just going to name this one idle. Now I have these parameters here. You should already know how to create a parameter, but as a refresher, you're going to need 5 float variables. It's going to be, click on this plus sign, click on float, and then name it whatever you're going to name it. In this case, you're going to want to name it input X, input Y, last input X, last input Y, and then speed. With this idle blend tree created, go ahead and double click on it to open it up, and then click on where it says blend tree. Over here on the right in the inspector, we're going to click on blend type and go down to simple, 2D simple directional. Our parameters we're going to pass, because this is going to be the idle, we need the last input X and the last input Y. Then down here in this motion section, we're going to click this plus sign and choose add motion field. We're going to do that 4 times. Alright, so these are going to be the directions that we're facing. So these top 2, I'm going to just put -1 for the position Y, and then +1 for the position Y. These bottom 2, it already has -1 for the X. I'm going to change this to +1 for the X and 0 for the Y, and then that'll get, oops, not 1, 0 for the Y. There we go. Alright, now we need to drag in our idle animation. So player idle down will go on top, because when we press down, we want it to go down in the Y. Player idle left will go on the 3rd one, player idle right on the 4th one, player idle up on the 2nd one. And now that that is all set up, we can back up into our animator by clicking on base layer. We're going to need to create a second blend tree. So create state, from new blend tree, we're going to name this one walk. Alright, we're going to go ahead and open that up, click on blend tree. We're going to repeat the process, 2D simple form for the simple direction for the blend type. Only our parameters this time are going to be input X, input Y, and then we're going to add a motion 4 times. We're going to drag in our walks, so player down walk will go on top, player up walk will go next, player left walk 3rd, player right walk 4th. We need to adjust these. They're going to be the same as the last time. So down we'll have a -1 in the Y, up we'll have a +1 in the Y, left we'll have a -1 in the X, right will have a positive 1 in the X and a 0 in the Y. Just like that. Let's go back to our base layer again. We're going to come down here and we need to make a transition to and from. So let's make a transition from idle to walk. We'll click on that. Uncheck has exit time. This settings, change your transition to 0.01. Otherwise there'll be a small moment where when you stop, the player will look down. It'll play the idle down animation for a split second and then switch to the correct idle. So this avoids that. Under conditions, we're going to make our condition to be speed and greater than 0.1. Now the thing with this one, that's just the default. You can delete that, you don't need that. So that blend parameter, because we have the parameters we need here. So let's go from walk, make transition back to idle, click on that transition arrow, uncheck has exit time, transition duration 0.1, and then conditions, speed less than 0.1. Alright, so with all that connected, now let's look at our player controller script. Alright, now that Unity's open, we're going to need a few variables, right? So we're obviously going to need the move speed. We're going to need a reference to rigid body, the animator, as well as some movements. One is for our current movement, and the other one is for our acts as our memory of our last movement. In the start function, we're going to set our last motion vector, which is the memory movement, to -1 on the y-axis, so that our character spots in the game facing down, looking towards the camera. As we move down into the update section, inside our update loop, we're going to capture the raw x and y axes to move the rigid body. We're going to normalize that movement so that walking diagonally isn't faster than walking straight. And then next is going to be our memory logic. So we check if our movement is not 0, and if we are actively pressing a key, then we save that direction into our last motion vector. When we let go of the keys, this prevents our character's memory from defaulting back to 0 right here. Alright, next we're going to pass those exact variables into our animator using setFloats command. It is absolutely crucial that we match the string names here perfectly to the parameters that we created in the animator. We're going to pass our active movement, our memory vectors, and finally our overall speed magnitude to trigger the transitions. We'll apply our physical movement in the fixed update. Now let's save the script and then let's try it out. There you go. And now he's moving perfectly, and that's how you get your four direction, really 8 direction, because as you can see you can move diagonally too. So movement in. All right, see you back in class.